Hey guys, this is Murali at Salt again. Today's topic is reframing. So, what is reframing, and what are the different kinds of reframing? How is it relevant to us in SAT prep, and what can we do to reframe? So these are the things we will talk about today. So, what is reframing, right? Reframing is like you have a perception of something, and suddenly you change the perception to see as something different, right? So, I think most of you have heard about the Stephen Covey's picture of the old woman or the old lady, and then like a young pretty girl, young girl and an old woman. So, like in the same picture, you see some people see a old woman, and then some people see a young woman. But they can vouch by it. He asked, actually in his workshops, he asked people to write stories about this, whatever they see, and then convey that to the other group. And they actually when they find out the other group is talking about a young girl, whereas they saw an old woman, they're in complete shock. It's like your perception is completely different about what you saw. Both of them, they saw the same exact picture. That's what he called it as a paradigm, right? His paradigm. He's used the word paradigm. So it's nothing but it's way of looking at things, right? So what is reframing is you change the way of looking at things. So why do we do that? We do that because to actually put ourselves in a more powerful, more resourceful states, or we take a weakness or a perceived weakness and then make it our strength. So you're basically changing the reality by changing the perception, right? So and actually we are doing some research, and then at Salt here about how we can reframe it. For athletes, like how we reframe one of their core beliefs and make it give them powerful tools. So during that time, I happened to listen to this Muhammad Ali's speech. Don't get political here, but just he is definitely a great guy. And if you listen to his speech, I don't know if he knowingly or unknowingly, but that's exactly what he did. He pretty much reframed the way boxing is perceived. And he reframed this to his strengths. So if you listen to his speech, he will say that I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and I can't possibly be beaten. First time when you hear it, he's blabbering something, right? But if you actually, look at it deeply, what he's doing is he's actually reframing the way you perceive a boxing champion. He's saying you can't possibly beat me because I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fast and pretty. If you look at it what is handsome and pretty got to do with boxing? So you can't beat him because he's handsome and pretty. If you're handsome and pretty, you go and become whatever, you become model or something like that. And fast. What has speed got to do with it? If you're fast, before he actually became this legendary boxer, right? Speed has nothing to do with boxing. So what it is if you're fast, go run a marathon, right? Go become a sprinter, whatever. But he took his strengths. He's young and he's good looking, but he's fast, super fast. He took his strengths and he's built his persona. And all these speeches are just before his game. So what is this it's a mind game, right? So he's actually putting this reframing them to make it as if you need these. You need to be fast, you need to be pretty, you need to be handsome. That's why you can't beat me. So the other guy is thinking, oh, he's so fast, and I'm not fast, so maybe I can't beat him. So he completely reframed it. That's one way, to reframe things to success, right? So why is it relevant to us? What is this concept, and why the heck is it relevant to us at SAT prep when I'm preparing for SAT, right? It's relevant to us because first of all, it's a fundamental life tool. You can use it in large number of ways. It's one of a core tool that you can have it in your arsenal. But apart from that, you basically use it to reframe your success in SAT. So before we jump into how we do that or what is that we are trying to reframe, let's see what kind of what are the different types of reframing. Okay, there are two types of reframing. One is content reframing and the other one is context reframing. So if you don't want to get too technical, you can just skip this one, but just I'll give you a very brief overview of these two types. A content reframing is simply changing the meaning of a situation. That is, a situation or behavior stays the same, but you change the meaning of it, right? So, for example, there is this thing they say, a soldier came to a general and said, sir, we are surrounded on all sides. So general says, good, now we can shoot in all directions. So he just changed the content of it. It's exact same words, but he changed the meaning of it by changing the content of that. So it's nothing but actually you change the meaning of the situation by ascribing a different meaning to that, right? So that's one way. And the other way is context reframing. So how you do that is what context reframing is taking an experience that seems to be negative or not useful and distressing and showing how the same behavior or experience can be useful in another context. So let's say you have a weakness. Perceived, not a weakness, but perceived something that seems to be negative or not useful, whatever, right? So you take that and then you change the context of it. You put yourself in a different context and where it becomes your asset, where it becomes your strength. So you basically change your background, your context, your environment around that. And you change the meaning or you change the entire perception, you change the reality of that. So these are two ways of reframing, right? So what to reframe? Now let's come to what exactly are we reframing here. First of all, you can reframe your buts. But meaning your excuses. You always have but I have this, but if but whatever, right? You have all these reasons, objections, things that that your mind will come up with saying that hey, you can't do this and things like that. All these objections. So you can reframe them. One of the as an athlete, right? You don't have a lot of time. So, but to prepare for SAT, a lot of your friends are preparing for SAT, right? Who are not an athlete, they have a lot of time with their hands. So they're working hard and they're focusing and they're working long hours. But whereas you are tired and you are you have practice games and everything, and you only have little time. But how we change that as to your core strength, right? So lack of time. Here we change it as results-driven core focus time. Okay, 9 minutes of what we say is results-driven core focus time. So you put yourself in this super state, super resourceful state, right? Then and use your physiology, use your strength. Basically, you are an athlete, so you actually can move your body pretty good. So move your body. We show you how to move the body good, and put yourself into a good resourceful state. And then we focus on results driven. Whatever you're doing is directly relational. Is to one of your how you get to certain result. So and then that's the focus time. So when you completely focus and then work on those critical areas which are directly responsible for your results, it changes the game. You don't need to read for hours and hours. One particular strategy which is going to take you there, you do that and you learn that. We show you the strategies and how exactly within very short time you can memorize and then recall things, and that's what it is. Once you master the inner game, we'll go outside, how you actually do that. So what are these strategies and what you do that. So basically, not having time, we are trying to change that to the meaning about how much time is required, right? So we're saying you don't need that much time, right? So you change the context of that, and you're basically reframing it and saying that we have or we are building results-driven core focus time, and we are working on that. So, very short time, but very focused and completely focused on the results which yields your results, which gets your results fast in an accelerated way. So that's one way of looking at it. But I want you to take a quick minute and try to come up with your objections, right? Like anywhere, I mean, what are different objections to getting, like, whatever score you dream of, right? So pick that number and then pick the objections, or what are your ifs, what are your buts, and try to see if you can reframe them. Try to see, I mean, how else can you, I mean, not just weaknesses, right? You can actually see or take your strengths in other areas and build upon that. You reframe them for this purpose. So you must be good at certain things, like in other areas of life. So you take those strengths and then you reframe that and then build your strengths on this. So I hope this helps, guys. And I mean, there's much more to be coming on in this area. And that's it for today. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.